A business coach who says money does not attract him. So is money just a word for him? Or does he see a different vision? Does he walk the talk? Or is he someone who has never quite stepped to the music of the majority and moves with joy to a different beat? Let's find out. Welcome to the podcast, A World in a Word, where we journey into fresh perspectives to see our world and create a new vocabulary. Our guest today is a personality who thrives more on nurturing youth and emergent entrepreneurs, so they have a broader vision to sustain a robust growth factor and enjoy a more fulfilling life. From real estate to tech gadgetry, the Bharat Jethani story has a lot more than meets the eye. And I know for sure that the audience watching this is completely enamored by this man, his mission, and the human being. Bharat Jethani, very pleased to have you with us today.
Thank you, Soni Thakkar. It's a privilege for me to come here as an invitation.
From retail to tech, to senior consultant, BNI, and now Ascentive. What got you here, Bharat?
Yeah, Soni, it's a great journey which I've been gone through, and it's all because growing up I was completely self-inspired kid, and I like to explore new things much better. I used to study on my own. I used to explore things on my own. And two things I learned from my parents. So mother taught me the values of helping people, always live a life of gratitude. And father taught me how to do hard work, and opportunities will keep on coming. So keep on doing hard work. And I took the help in the hard work and made a combination. So I did my diploma in computer technology, and in fact the day I finished my exam I was recommended to a small computer firm where I got a job, and it was made clear to the boss on the first day, being from a Sindhi family, I'm going to start business. So I'm not here to survive for long, but I'm here to learn. So he said, okay, fine, I'll teach you everything. It was a small firm operating from home, and he had great clients, and he said, let's do one thing. I'll not pay you any salary, but I'll teach you everything. And in 1992, I got the first job right from the next day of the finish of examinations. And he taught me from testing the chips, assembling PC, troubleshooting PC, and where to source the parts, because it was an unorganized market. A lot of import used to come in Lamington Road or some other streets, and how to buy it, how to deliver it. So I was a very skinny guy, and going in train with the PC and monitor that time was very hard. But I went through a great time because I was learning something. So I had a nice desire to learn something new, and 6 months I was taught everything, and after 6 months I was getting offers from someone else. Why don't you come and join me? I'll pay you 5,000 rupees. And he came to know from someone else. I was loyal to my boss, and he said, okay, I'll start your stipend of 800 rupees. So the more 6 months I worked, and in 1993 I was around 19 years old, and he said, you're free to go and start your own business.
Wow.
And he said, no, you know everything now, whatever is there until now. Novel Network also, that was the latest LAN OS. And he said, you can go and work. Any help you need, I'm here to help you. Anytime you're stuck, let me know, I'm here to help you.
So what you learned was beyond textbooks, really.
Yes.
Everything is now
a practical knowledge, which they don't teach in colleges.
Yes.
And he said, I know you are perfect 10, you'll not do mistakes. And at that time there was a big respect for computer technicians, because no one knew how to repair computers. There were very big companies, they used to charge exorbitant fees to repair computers, but I was very fast in it because I got the right training, right mentoring. And at the age of 19 I used to carry Ecolec briefcase. I remember, you know how the Ecolec briefcase was, with a floppies, PC toolkit, and I used to win the hearts of a lot of customers by giving them quick solutions.
And
they used to wait for 2 days, 3 days. I used to do it in 2 hours, 3 hours.
So these were because of your practical
expertise, and that got me great success, name, fame. In fact, I was the youngest HP dealer at that time. I didn't have to wait for getting dealership of HP from Godrej. Godrej sales guy offered me, why don't you start doing HP, because I used to sell latest HP products. That time the inkjet printer used to cost 20,000 rupees. Laser printer used to cost 50,000. I used to sell it. So my whole life I've never been in queue to ask for something. It's being recommended by someone somehow, I don't know how. And got a great success, name, fame in IT technology itself that time.
But you used some strange words, Bharat. You said gratitude and giving. These are very unusual words from a business coach. What makes that important in your life?
The whole business starts with gratitude. Your first client trust you, they believe you somewhere, because no other people in the world will not trust you because you don't have clients. So when you start with no clients, someone comes and trusts you. Okay, let's deal. I'm your first client, right? They take a risk and they want to take your product or service, so they become your first client. So business starts with gratitude. So business starts with thankfulness. So your first client, when I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, they say, 19 years back I had my first client, I'm not in touch with them. So they go and even thank them now. So because of you I am successful. So the first client is very hard. I sold my 2 PCs in the first 6 months of my career, but it took me 6 months, and the 2 PCs were sold to builders with no compromise in quality, with no compromise in cost. So your first 2 customers, the first customer is the foundation of what business you want to set, and the business set on totally on your values and ethics. Right? So
is this a new mantra that you would share with the entrepreneurs, or has it always been around?
100%, because you're dealing with people, right? Emotionally we are not connected with them, transactionally we are connected. Take example of life. Are we connected emotionally with our brother, sister, father, mother, everyone, right? We are connected, and we always thankful to them because they're doing something great for us without any expectation. But in business, we don't go beyond transaction. We stop at the transaction. We don't even thank them for the business given it. And even you can see countries like US, UK, which are way ahead of India, and they say Western culture, they're technology savvy. In fact, they don't use more technology when they thank. They use handwritten notes to thank you.
In today's age?
Today's age. And that exactly connects. So I have multiple thank you notes being given by some of the people in UK and US, and which actually connects each other. They give it by heart. It's not a formality. Somewhere you make a difference to them, they will give you a thank you card.
You mentioned this a few days ago, that a small group of 20 people, 20
yes.
businessmen do a higher scale of business than more than 100 people
yes.
Elsewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Is this one of the reasons?
Yeah, because the biggest challenge today is time. You cannot stretch time. So you had one client, you had ample of time to make 10 clients, 50 clients, 100 clients. Once you reach 100 clients, then you don't have time to go and meet all 100 clients. But if you select 10 of these, not even clients, some of 10 of the people who like you very much, who get inspired by you very much, and who are supposed to give it time, if you meet these 10 people also, these 10 can get you 10 more clients. But we keep on, in this world, it's like a rat race. We keep on looking for new clients, and we spend a lot of time, money, resources looking at social media, paid social media ads, everything, and we keep on searching for new clients, wherein the clients can come from clients itself, or clients can come from people around you, right? But we forget the people around us. We say, "ठीक है, अभी Sony knows me, I know Sony, done, I don't have to meet her." Okay, that should not be the case. So today when I was speaking to one of the client, he said, I got a contract of 2 lakh rupees and referred by this architect, and she was behind me to get the business. I said, that means she cares about you, right? So does she knows you very well? He said, yeah, she knows you very well. She got me 2 lakh contract. I said, you have to be in touch with that architect again next month and see to how you can help her. Don't stop the relationship here. Don't assume that things are done. You have to be in touch. If you are not in touch, every day there's a new success story. Every day you're meeting new people. How can you connect each other much better? Absolutely. So you have to be in touch once in a month for sure. Then only they know what's happening in your life, what's happening in your business. You know what's happening in their life and in business, and you can help each other.
Has that become tougher today with actually the world being interconnected and too many people knowing each other? Would you say that?
Yes. And even social media has made it more tougher because we are in the business of likes now. How many likes are coming on Facebook? How many likes are coming on LinkedIn? and we just are happy that, oh, I got so many likes, oh, I got so many comments. But what next? If someone has commented your post, what next? Are you taking this relationship ahead? Are you even understanding how you can help them? So social media is made more like forwarding on WhatsApp, making people happy with the WhatsApp jokes or WhatsApp forwards, whatever is coming in, and we think, oh, we make them happy, they're going to deal with us. No, it is not like that. You have to connect. Emotional connect has to happen. It is not without emotional connect. In fact, if you work with corporates also, big time corporates, there are people who are sitting over there who are employees, but there are people with emotions, and emotions connect each other.
And absolutely, I remember you sharing in one of the sessions that business is ultimately done between people.
Yes.
So you can't just keep looking at the bottom line and the numbers.
Yeah.
And the numbers are actually coming through the people that you connect with. So would also this be one of the things that you'd like to share with the new young entrepreneurs, especially the digital natives of today?
So even young startups are more aggressive, more dynamic. Of course, they're using technology more, but they're very quick on technology. Yeah. The moment they move to the relationship part, relationship marketing, not the standard relationship, but relationship marketing, it can make a big difference for them because they are full of ideas. They're full of, they can be a unicorn in future, but they have to share it. The biggest thing is they're not sharing. They have ideas, they are working on their ideas, but that idea is in a closed loop, and they think that this can be a trade secret, we don't have to tell. They have to share to the world. The moment they start sharing to the world will help them. The idea is good. They are looking at saving the world, environment, starting something which is impacting people, community, but they have to share it. If you don't share it, and if you think the Facebook will help them to share it, or Instagram will help to share it, yeah, they will at some extent, but they will not get right results. It's just to reduce the sales cycle, what they want to do it, but they cannot get the right results. So they have to share with people among them. If they don't even share with their family, it's not going to help.
So would these people best benefit from connecting with you, or what kind of audience would benefit with connecting with you?
You'll not believe it. When I started in 2016, I used to only look at successful entrepreneurs, more than 5 years, with so many clients, with so many turnover. I got an opportunity to become a visiting lecturer in Jain College, and they had a VBOC department, which is they had a different course, travel and tourism. And the first batch of graduation was going off. So I was invited as a lecturer to speak on entrepreneurship. And that was the first batch of third year. And when I was speaking to them of entrepreneurship, they know everything about entrepreneurship. And they were the students were so mature, they were talking about business questions. Okay, I'm coming with this startup idea, how should I go ahead? How can I raise funds? How can I do this? At that time I understood that students are one step ahead. I mean, it is not like they're going to leave the college and then work somewhere and then think about business. No, in second year, third year, they're talking about business, and they have started some business. So in fact, startups need this because it's a foundation what they're going to do it. It's a foundation. In fact, when I started as a 19-year-old, I was just working hard. 14 over 16 years, I'm trying to make money, and I was making money. But I didn't have a foundation how to look at 10 years ahead, 15 years ahead, 5 years ahead. I was just working hard, and industry changes every 2 years nowadays. Every industry changes 2 years. There's new disruption coming up. So in fact, when they get this education in the college time only, they can do wonders. They can do wonders.
That would be one segment which would benefit most from your expertise. So startups is definitely...
I've been to a startup network as speaker, and I see when I meet and interact with startups, they just talk about their product, service, oh, I did this, I did that. But they don't say why they have created this. And startups which have created some solution, they felt the need. So take example of Hotmail, right? You know Hotmail was started as a free email service. Sabir Bhatia started Hotmail because everything was paid at the time, mail service. And he started free. And people are using Hotmail a lot. And finally, Microsoft bought it for $400 million at that time, right? WhatsApp came in because BlackBerry Messenger, you had to pay money to telecom operators. And WhatsApp came in free. Any phone you can use it. And WhatsApp was sold for 19 billion. A free messaging service was sold for $19 billion. So anything which is a need and can come in as a solution for the consumers can be a unicorn.
If I take this further, Bharat, in the last decade, I would say, the generation which was running a business and the generation which is running it today, what difference do you find?
So initially the generation used to rely on their staff, and they used to think, okay, let's have this department, have this department, have this department. But now generation has to change, and they have to understand that outsourcing has become so easy. You don't have to have a full-fledged staff for it. Okay, so if you're not good in HR, you got HR outsourcing team. If you're not good in financial accounting, you can have a virtual CFO. If you're not good in marketing your goods very well, so you can have a business coach. You have to hire a professional and outsource it. You don't have to expand the staff and make it much better. So even for the startups, they should know how to outsource from different people and how to create a team so they can help each other. So if you outsource an HR professional has also got their own trusted contacts where they can help them. So outsourcing has to become in startups a much better way.
So it's like the community that you've always been suggesting. That brings me to your own community, the Ascentive setup. Do tell us a little more about how it began for you and what makes it tick.
So I was in BNI business networking platform since last 10 years, and initially BNI was very quality people. Now also it's quality people, but very concentrated, and people used to help each other. Small chapters, like small groups of people used to help each other. And I always seen how people can help each other, how people can recommend each other. In fact, someone recommended me to join BNI because he saw how naturally I'm recommending people outside BNI, so I was recommended. And after coming in BNI, I became a chapter president. That was also recommended by someone else. When I became chapter president, I showed the human touch in the group, entrepreneurship group. I became a director consultant, and when I became a director consultant, I could see a bigger opportunity to touch base with a lot of entrepreneurs, and there I grew with relationships. So people are still in touch with me after I'm not being a DC, and that made a difference. In fact, Ascentive came in because of BNI. What I did in BNI, never expecting anything in money or something like that, whatever I did, it was depositing relationships. And when it came to Ascentive, they were very choosy to get right people in, because we teach relationship marketing, which is again to a right recommendation. I was also recommended to be a franchisee, master franchisee. So this recommendation circle is too good for me until now, and that's what I teach entrepreneurs to be in that. So we have a community of almost 80 to 90 entrepreneurs right now, and these are people who believe in ethics, believe in trust, believe in relationship, and they know the business grows slowly and steadily. There's no shortcut to success. There's no manipulation in business. So very ethical guys, and when they come and meet with us in the same community forum, they're ready to help without any expectation. They don't come with expectation, मेरे को क्या मिलने वाला है, what I'm going to get it. No, it's what I'm going to help other. And these are 5 magical words I always tell everyone to say whenever you meet people. How can I help you?
The first time I hear a businessman or a business coach not looking at the bottom line.
Yes.
And that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Moving on to Bharat Jethani, the man. Yeah. What makes you tick?
So, still long way to go. It's just a start. Driven by the values what my parents taught, and driven by the successes, testimonials which are coming in every day. Whenever I speak to someone in the morning, there's some success story, something which is clicking for them. It's driving me every day. It's not the money which attracts, it's the success of people, or delight of people, delight of entrepreneurs, what they get it. Or we are on track, or we were completely lost, we know what to do now, where we are going in next 5 years. This is what actually clicks me every day, and I'm driven by that.
And it keeps coming back to you, Bharat.
Yeah, because I've always believed, don't get attracted by money. Money will attract towards you. And money will attract towards you when you are with people. And when you are with people, at hard times, tough times, people will be with you. So take the case of this COVID-19. Irrespective of whatever happened, people were with me because I was with people. So one of the guy in fact introduced me. He's also a trainer, and he was introducing me on a con call. He said, okay, if people invest in Bharat and then Bharat invests time with them.
How but you do that any which way. I must say the generosity of spirit.
Yeah.
It has touched everybody,
yes.
Really. And now that you mentioned COVID, Bharat, your insights and your predictions of pre-COVID and post-COVID and how people are going to carry on.
So it is all about adapting, and that's what we in India normally, people are like chalta attitude, take it for granted. There'll be a change in that scenario, and initially people used to skip their offices, saying for some reason now there's no skipping. For some reason they can work from home because they got laptop, they got net connectivity, everything. Things will change a lot, okay, and there'll be slight discipline which will come in the work environment, and people will be on toes. So there were some companies who were with the emergency fund for 1 year, 2 years, they survived. People were just surviving on day to day, कि आज मैंने कमाया कल खर्चा करूँगा. They're completely wiped out. I mean, they're not there. The company's shut because they didn't have reserve fund. They didn't have reserve fund to pay the employees also. In fact, one of my client who's running a 70 crore logistics business, freight forwarding and logistics business, he paid each and every employee salary. He had 100 people in that time, and the employees were there with him for all the time in that COVID-19 time, the lockdown time, and he made profits in that time because no other service vendor was ready to give service, and they were there, and the clients were coming to him because he was all ready. He never stopped anyone's salary. He gave salary to each of the employee, and he said, okay, I will give the salary to employee because employees are with me, and when employees are with you, you can work and you can give service to clients. So I'll tell you, the moment lockdown stopped and everything became normal, every organization who had people, they are making profits now.
Right. That's true. So again, it works to if you look at it, it's a longer vision that you would have for yourself and the world. And with that, there is one big question. One word, Bharat Jethani, from you for the upcoming years of business or the young entrepreneurs.
You need to be always inspired. I always see inspired as a long term, not short term. So if you're not inspired to do whatever you do, if you're not inspired in your goals, if you're not inspired in a vision, you can't drive yourself. So there are two ways of people I've seen: self-start versus push-start. Self-start people are motivated, they are just driven by it, but push-start people should be inspired. If push-start people are not inspired by why they're doing what they're doing, if push-start people are not inspired by where they want to reach, they'll get stuck at some time. So inspiration is one word which always attracts me, and that's what I say, people, inspiration should go ahead with you. And in fact, I'm inspired by Simon Sinek, author of Start With Why, and I love his quotes. So I keep on posting his quote because there is a meaning in that quote. There is an in-depth meaning in that quote. And sometimes it resonates what I'm doing with community right now. That's what he says. And even community says, yeah, this is what we are understanding from you. It's like Simon Sinek saying that.
Absolutely. And I think, Bharat, you personify the word inspiring.
Yeah.
And I'd love to thank Bharat Jethani for being the kind of man that he is. Inspiring, generous and giving. Thank you very much for being with me today.
Thank you, Sony. In fact, you are inspiring me to be more on video right now. So I had to think to do more on videos.
Well, I think it's quite mutual. You have inspired me to take this further. And thank you for being with us with Bharat Jethani in this episode of A World in a Word. See you around soon.
Thank you.